All right, good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing well. This week, we're going to go ahead and knock out how to use charts and graphs in Excel. This might be something you already know how to do. Should go by really, really quick. Just kind of follow along. I've included some notes in Google Classroom if you feel like you need help going over anything and making sure you understand what to do here. We use charts and graphs essentially just to show the data in a different way. Helps give it a good visual representation. It's always nice when you have a graph because it kind of points things out a little more obviously. It all kind of varies on the different types of graphs that you use. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I would make sure you do is that you save this spreadsheet in your Excel folder as the same name. So go ahead and take a second here. You can pause the video, go save this in your Excel folder to make sure you don't lose it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. The first thing we want to do is if we're going to create a chart or graph, the first thing you have to be able to do is two things. Number one, you got to select the data you want to put in the chart or graph. All right, so we're going to go ahead and select our cell range of A4 through C13 here on this production by countries tab. All right, so I'm going to select A4 and drag through C13. We always want to select data if we're going to insert a table or a chart of some kind. All right, so we're going to go to the Insert tab. And right over here on the right side, it gives you an idea of the different charts that you have on the Insert tab. Right here in the middle, you've got all these different versions, bar graphs, line graphs, pie graphs, a scatter plot, whatever you need. It even gives you an idea of what you should use here, what you could use. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and do this 2D line graph, this very first one right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click on this, and we get our chart right here. Okay, now the chart's a little bit small, so the first thing I always suggest doing is resizing your chart over a different cell range to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so you can do this one of two ways. I can either use the corner to click and drag, or I can click and drag moving the chart. Now, if you're going to move the chart, always do it from a blank area in the chart. You don't want to grab on the title or the middle here, because what will end up happening is you move stuff around. But we're going to go ahead, I'm going to click here, I'm going to drag the upper left corner up to E2 right here, and then I'm going to go to the bottom right corner. I'm going to drag this down over about M19 or so, something like that. There we go. In fact, I might go ahead and leave that right there. There we go. So now we see our line graph here. This kind of represents the two different years that we've had of this cocoa bean production in the thousands of tons, right? For all these different countries in Africa, these are the 2 years that they have recorded of how many thousands of tons of cocoa beans they've produced, okay? So we kind of see that change over time for each country here, all right? So once we have our line graph here now, the first thing we want to understand is with our chart or graph, when I have the chart selected, notice you see some of this stuff highlighted here. This kind of tells you a representation of the countries, the data, the two different series that are here. You can always go through and add it and change it. So let's say I don't want to include Indonesia on my graph. I can just have through the Dominican Republic. That's fine, right? So if I were to come through here and I delete this, that's okay. All right, you can do the same thing right now. We can just end it with the Dominican Republic for now. All right, so we've got that taken care of. What happens if we add information, right? So let's say I insert a new row 10 here. So let's insert a new row 10. So you right click on the number 10 over here, and we're going to choose Insert. And notice we have a big chunk missing in our table, right? This updates in real time, so you don't have to worry about redoing your chart again if you're going to add data in here to what you've already put into the chart. So we're going to add in what we call Papua New Guinea. PapauNewguinea. Papua New Guinea. And notice right down here the country name's added. And we're going to go ahead for 2009, 2010, let's just put 100. And then for 2010 to 2011, let's go ahead and make this 250. And when we hit enter, it updates and changes some of that information right there. Okay, takes care of that for us. So now we see how we add a line graph here. Also notice we need to include a chart title. So let's go up here, and when you click on the chart title, we're going to go ahead and call this Cocoa Bean Production. I'll close this window for now. There we go. Cocoa bean production. This looks pretty sharp. Not too bad. Okay. All right. Notice up here you've got some other on types of tabs. You got a chart design and a format tab just like you would with any table, but we'll go ahead and leave this for now. So all we're doing on this sheet is we're inserting a line graph. So very easy to insert charts or graphs in Excel. You just select the data, insert tab, and choose the type of graph that you want. Okay. So we've made our chart. We've successfully done this. So the next thing we want to go ahead and do is we're going to do a duplicate of this tab here. So we're going to right click on the tab production by country down here and choose move or copy. And then we're going to go ahead and choose to create a copy. And we're going to put this before the production by region sheet, just like this. So you choose production by region and create a copy. We click OK, and now we have two identical tabs. All right. Let's go ahead and do this on the first tab. Let's rename this one line graph. And on production by country 2, let's rename this one to bar graph. So you can probably figure out what we're going to do. First thing we want to do is we want to delete a chart. If you want to delete a chart, again, just select a white area of the chart and you can hit delete on your keyboard. Okay. Notice again, let's say I click on some of these specifics and I click delete, it just gets rid of some of the specifics in there sometimes. All right. Or if I click on this and I try to hit delete. Okay. To delete the whole chart, just click in some blank area of the chart and hit delete right there. Very easy. Okay, on your keyboard. So once again, if we're going to insert a bar graph, the first thing we have to do is select our data. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click and drag through from A4 through C13 again. A4 through C13 here. And I'm going to go to my Insert tab. And this time, let's go under the bar graph option up here, or column graph, whichever one you want to look at it. And let's do this 3D column right here, the 3D cluster column. All right. So we have this 3D column. Once again, I'm going to resize this up to E2, excuse me, and take this one down to about M19 or so, right there. There we go. All right. So when we have a bar graphs are really great when you want to see the highs and the lows of the data specifically. And now that we've done this, we also want to see how we can add some other elements to our chart. Okay, whether it's you want to add some column text over here or a row text down here to kind of show what these represent. We want to put data on top of each one to show what the number is. We want to change colors, whatever that stuff is. We're going to show you how to kind of format the chart here. All right. So the first thing we want to make sure that we do here is we're going to go ahead and click on the title. Instead of having that there, let's go ahead and click delete. And let's say we inserted a chart with no title and we need a title on our chart, right? Again, when the chart is selected here, on the Chart Design tab, on the far left side, you have this Add a Chart Element button right over here, this guy right here. All right, so I'm going to click on him. And notice you have all these different options of what we want to do here, right? So the first thing we want to do is put in a chart title again. So right now it says none, but we're going to go ahead and choose one that says above chart. So there's our chart title, and again, we'll call this Cocoa Bean Production. Get rid of this word. There we go. And we have our title. Perfect. We also want to add our horizontal axis and our vertical axis here, the Y and the X. We want to go ahead and add a little bit of a label there. So we're going to go back to our Add Chart Element. And we're going to go to the axis titles this time. Let's do the primary horizontal. Again, we just click on the Add Chart Element, axis titles, primary horizontal. And these are obviously countries. So we'll just come down here and label these as countries. All right. Again, I'm just in my chart area. We also want to add our vertical one. So we go to Add Chart Element, axis titles, primary vertical. And notice the text looks a little bit sideways here. That's okay. You can still triple click or double click or click and drag wherever you want. But we'll go ahead and say for this one, this is cocoa beans. And I'm going to put a parentheses and put thousands of tons. Thousands of tons. Cocoa beans and thousands of tons. Oops, I forgot my parentheses at the end there. There we go. Let's go up just a little bit higher. There we are. Boom. Okay. So we added those. We've added a title. We've done all those things. We can even add data labels. So we're going to set this chart up that on top of each column, we're going to see the data label that goes with each number here. So we're going to go to add chart element, and we're going to go to data labels here. Okay. And what we want to choose is we're going to choose the one that just says outside end. Okay. Outside end like this. And I don't see the number showing up. I apologize. That should work for us. Data labels. Let's go to more data label options. We'll try that. There we go. More data label options, and now we can kind of see those numbers a little bit. I apologize there. So we have them here. Again, you can see what shows up if you click on number. We could change those and format those to percentages. We could do lots of different things, but we'll go ahead and leave those there for now. Okay. All right. So just to see that again, I'll click undo here, see if it undoes. There we go. I'm going to go to my add chart elements, data labels, and more data label options. And there they are. Okay. Perfect. So we're going to close that window. And we have our data labels, right? I could even go through and change the colors of my columns here, right? So notice when I click on a column right here, if I click on that, notice it selects all the columns that match that. That's what we want, right? If I double click on it now, notice that only this one is selected. So if I try to change the color here, I'm only going to be able to change one color, right? So if I do this, that changes that column. Well, I don't want that. I want to change the entire column here selected. So again, I'm going to go back, select the table, and just click on the column once. And now that I have the window pulled up, I can do it one of two ways. Okay, on my chart format tab right here, I can change the colors just like I normally would, right? So if I make these guys purple, they're purple here. I can do the same thing from over here. That's easy, all right? So I'm going to change that one, but on these guys right here, this time I'm going to go ahead and do let's do a pattern fill. And we're going to fill it with a nice little checkered pattern here. But this time I also want to change the color. We're going to make this one, let's see, what goes with purple? Let's do a nice gray. There we go. I can even change the background color. Let's make this one black. There we go, just like that. So you can change these to a lot of different things and format your table any way you want. That's okay. What other color schemes and things that you want for yours, that's fine. But you see how you can add some elements to the chart once it's made. Very, very simple, okay? So we've got that taken care of. Here's a good opportunity. Make sure you're clicking save on your work. Make sure you're hitting Command S to save. Take a pause and do that real fast. And when you're ready, we're going to jump back over to this last one, which we're, again, production by region. We will rename pie chart. Go ahead and save, and we'll get started here in a second. Okay. So lastly, just like we've been doing, we need to insert a pie chart. So I'm going to go ahead and select these pieces of data a little bit smaller this time. And right down here under pie, we'll just do a 2D pie. And now that we have that, let's resize this one up to D2. And we'll take our bottom right down to about, just like usual, about M19. Make it nice and large here for us, all right? So pie charts are really, really good when you just want to show how everything breaks down as a percentage of the whole. And everything's a percentage of the whole. So we see how all of these make up the total for these 4 countries here, right? So again, we just want to do some quick formatting on this and edit it. Let's say I wanted to put a legend in here. Notice that our legend is on the bottom. I could try to click and drag that over to the right, but it doesn't quite work as well. Instead, what I can do is go to my add chart element and go to data, my legend, and let's put this on the right. Jumps it over to the right side for you very, very easily. Notice it changes the position of the chart a little bit, and that's okay. Let's also go ahead and update the title to say Cocoa Bean Production. And the other thing we want to do is 2 things. We're going to add some data labels here, and we're going to change the color of each individual pie. So notice again, when I click on the pie, it selects all of them at once. If I want to select one specific piece, like this large one here, I'm going to click on that, and now just that piece is selected. So again, on my chart format tab, I can change the shape fill color to any color I want. Let's go ahead and make him red. And I'm going to change each individual slice to a different color just to kind of see how it breaks down, right? We'll go to just kind of our basic color scheme here, and we'll go ahead and change you to a nice bright blue there. There we go. So I've changed each of my slice colors doing it that way. If I could click on my chart here and I double click on this one slice, again, I can change that specific color from right over here too. Either way you want to do it, all right? You could do picture fills or patterns or gradients, whatever you want to do. That's up to you. I'm just showing you a quick, simple edit to it, right? One cool thing I really like about pie charts is the one thing we do is what we call exploding the pie, right? That's where we can take a slice of the chart and actually pull it away from the rest of the chart a little bit, right? So since this one, the Ivory Coast, is a little bit larger than the other ones, we can resize and pull him away a little bit to kind of separate it, right? You can easily click and drag him back. If I click on the chart just once and I hold down and I click and drag that piece, that will explode the entire pie. Okay, sometimes you just want to do one piece, that's fine. So we're just going to, again, click on this individual piece so it's the only one selected, and I just click and drag him away a little bit, just like that. All right, so that's called exploding the pie. All right. The other thing we want to do is we also want to add some specific data labels here. Okay, so again, with the chart selected, I go back to chart design, my add chart elements, and we're going to go to data labels, and we'll come down here to the bottom, and let's go ahead to start. Let's choose where we said outside end. Okay, and what that does is it's going to put the numbers around the outside of the chart. I could change that if I wanted to and go to add chart elements, data labels. I could choose inside end. I could choose, different options of best fit depending on it. But let's go ahead and go to more data label options here. And once I'm here, the window looks very same over here, but there's a little bar graph right here. Let's click on this bar graph for label options and pull open each of these. The first thing I want to change here, instead of seeing the value, I want to see how this breaks down as a percentage. So we're going to de-check the value box, and let's check the category name for each country, and let's also include the percentage. So we see how it breaks down. The Ivory Coast has a 53% advantage of cocoa bean production between these other guys. Seeing that percentage again specifically, you see it naturally here with the pie graph, but now we know the exact number. Let's also change this where we can also move it to outside end, just like that. So it's outside of each slice, just like that, okay? And that is it, guys. It's an easy way to format your charts, okay? The chart you need, it depends on the information you're working with, right? If you're talking about information, how it changes over time, a line graph is really, really good. If you're talking about just seeing the highs and lows of data, so for example, there's our line graph, the highs and lows of data, it's really good to go with the bar graph. And when you're talking about seeing how things break down as part of the whole, a pie chart is really, really good. All right, so once you've got your three sheets set up here, you have a line graph, a bar graph, and a pie chart. Once you have this, go ahead and save your work. You've added data labels, we've added titles, legends, things like that. You've formatted, changed information, all that stuff. If you've gotten to this point, save your work. You can go turn this in on Google Classroom, and that is it for this week. All right, so I just wanted to show you how you can update and edit some information there. All right, so good work. If you have any questions, email me. Stop by my office hours, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, good luck, guys.